Hey, have you guys ever seen a rugged tablet? This is the first time I'm checking one out. DOOGEE sent out this new R10 tablet. Now, on top, it might seem a little misleading. It says 128 gigabytes of internal storage, which is right, but only 15 gigabytes of RAM, which is really just 8 gigabytes of RAM and 7 gigabytes of VRAM, so keep that in mind. When I think of rugged tablets, I think that it would survive a few falls here or there, but I don't know, I'll have to see exactly how much this weighs and everything, because this is kind of heavy, this whole box itself. So let's see, in the box we have the tablet itself. It's actually not as thick as I thought it was going to be. Definitely thicker than most of them, but still not too bad. And it doesn't really look that rugged. Like, I don't feel like this would survive a fall because of the weight. So I don't know. It can survive, or it can help absorb some of it with the edges here being a little decent. But I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's enough, mainly because of the weight. There has to be a little bit more here. And if it were to fall flat on its face, there is kind of like, it is protruding on the top, bottom, and sides a little bit. But if there's a rock in between, it can still damage this. Well, there is a screen protector that's pre-installed here. Got the user manual here. Pin, which is probably to just get to the micro SD card tray. Got the basics like a USB wall outlet, which is fast charging, I guess. A USB-C to USB-C cable, a dual stylus this time, which is kind of nice. That's really interesting, both sides. I'm going to check this out a little more in a bit. Yeah, so it's interesting. And then plus, there's also a few more things this time around that I was not familiar with. There seem to be some screws here. There are these screws, 2 mount brackets, and a screwdriver, along with this hand strap. And this is to place on the back of the tablet here. So essentially I'd have to remove these, put the 2 brackets behind here, each side, and then I can actually also place the strap too on the same side. So let me give this a try here. By the way, this is a special type of screw that you're going to need, or screwdriver. I guess my camera can't pick it up. But yeah, that's the best I can show you here. It's a star type of screwdriver, and then it's relatively easy to just put in and then counterclockwise unscrew. In less than 2 seconds, it's like out already. On these metal brackets, there's kind of a bump underneath, so it makes it easier to just place it in there, and it'll kind of just stay in there so that you can easily just screw it in. It's not going to fall out of place. Okay, I finally got this on, and 2 things I got incorrect were the metal brackets were on the wrong way, so I had to just turn it around, and so it goes in this way. And then secondly, I used the other screws that it came with in here, and that fits in here. So now we're good to go. And then there's like 2 extra like screws and 2 extra like pads if you take this out. And now this can be used to hold it on. And this strap is really usable outdoors. It helps protect this from falling. So if I'm working outdoors, I would definitely want to consider having something like this in general for safety, because it is rugged, but I don't know how much or what the chances are of it lasting from a drop or 2. So I'd be curious to see it. And outdoors, you can see the screen doesn't really look that bright, and on video it looks worse than in real life. So it's just maybe slightly brighter in real life, but still, I mean, it's not really full daylight out. The sun is kind of not really setting, but it's not really out there. It was just a cloudy day for the most part. So take that how you will. I think brightness is something they had to work on, or they have to work on. That's probably one of the downsides. But again, if you're working in cloudy weather like this, I really don't think you'll have much of a problem, or even worse than this, especially during the winter time when the sun's really not out for most of the day. But during those summer days, yeah, I would definitely want something that's brighter. This also has an IP68 and IP69K water rating, so it can go through and handle water pretty well here. I can completely dip it in water if I wanted to, but there's nothing that I have that this can really go inside. It's going to work just fine afterwards. It's still kind of wet right now, but it's working pretty well. One of the reasons is because all of the ports have a flap and it's closed out. And I guess starting on the top here, surprisingly enough, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. I'm sure some people will still appreciate this, as this is something that's like not available anymore. There's 2 speaker grills. On the top is the power button and volume controls, and one way to differentiate them is that the volume controls have a texture. And on the other side, there's 2 more speaker grills, one on each side. along with a micro SD card slot. And then there is a SIM tray in here, but I don't believe that this will work in the States. It may work internationally, but again, I'm not sure. I'm guessing because that's what happened with the last like tablet that I had by DOOGEE. It worked outside of the States, but in the United States it was not compatible. So, and then there is a USB port down here. There is the front-facing camera. On the back is the 20 megapixel rear-facing camera with the flash. I feel like these are the same cameras they've used for the past year and a half or so, or a year at least. I'm not complaining too much because for a tablet, I don't really care about the camera. As long as it's sufficient enough, and it seems like it's decent enough, I can kind of read stuff on here, like this coupon that says $49.95, then $50 off. Yeah, that's kind of impressive. And between these two pictures, one's not HDR, the other one is, but I really couldn't tell the difference. I guess post-processing is still decent overall on this, and this is like a Sony camera. And let's see the front camera here. It seems like it's decent enough for a call. Yeah, that is actually better than I thought. I wonder if this is the Samsung 16 megapixel camera. But yeah, this is really good. Probably one of the best front cameras that I've seen. Wow. No, seriously, I'm impressed with that. Wow, that's nice.
And the sound is pretty nice here. The Octa had...
Yeah, the speakers are incredibly loud. One of the loudest speakers ever. I think it might be the same as the DOOGEE T30s, but nonetheless, it's amazing. Absolutely incredible. At the highest level, it gets like distorted, so you can take it down like 2 notches. Taking it down by like 2 notches, it's just perfect. There's not that much distortion then or anything like that. And watching videos at Full HD 1080p, or this was actually 1440p on here because this does have a 2000 by 1200 display or resolution, and videos can be played at 1440p here on YouTube. And even this also has a wideband level L1, but I do want to see by watching a video on Netflix or two, because even though on DRM info, I don't know where that is, it says that it does have wideband level L1. We still have to see whether or not it actually does, because sometimes I've seen tablets have wideband level L1 and then it's not the case. I don't know why. This is the one problem with Netflix. It's a little hard to tell exactly which resolution this is on. It looks good, but maybe due to streaming it might render a little differently, or it might lose some like it might not just be at full 1080p throughout the streaming. But yeah, I guess it does have wideband level L1. Based on what it said on the listing and on DRM info, so we're going to go with that. I almost forgot to show how much storage was out of the box. It's 113 gigabytes free out of 128, and there's not much bloatware either, although I did notice that some apps are kind of repeated. Like you see there's 2 photo apps, 2 settings, so I think this is like a little bug they're going to have to fix in some type of little update. Also, these are the Geekbench scores. Nothing really exciting, nothing too impressive, but this is good enough for your basic tasks and even gaming a little bit here and there. On CPU-Z, it shows that the CPU is an MT8781 with a GPU of ARM Mali G57 MC2. Then you got the rest of the stuff here. I don't know why it's not showing you right now. Oh, because of the ad. Didn't. And here is everything else. Not going to go through everything, but yeah, not too bad. Got to check out a few games here. First game is ROBLOX, and I've never seen it being smoother than it is here. It's like almost like there's no frame rate drop. It's just super smooth. Probably when I get into gameplay and like fights, it might change a little, but still, this is perfectly fine. Yeah, let me try. Okay, how do you... Okay, combat. And it's perfectly fine. As I'm thinking about this, this might also be a good device for kids. You know, because kids might drop their tablets quite often here or there, or devices, and this being rugged could help protect it quite a bit. Next game here is RuneScape, and it looks like it's getting like 40 to 50 frames per second on average. It does drop to dip into the 30s, but nothing too bad. And this is on the lowest graphics. At the highest graphics, it actually does work, but it's going to be at like 15 FPS or even 20 at best. So really, this is good for light gaming. Nothing too crazy here. And I guess medium level. I'm not sure if this is well optimized in general for low-end tablets, but overall, with everything I've done... Oh, and one more thing I can't forget is this right here. This dual stylus, 2-in-1 stylus. So one side here is to use for the screen, which is kind of nice. And then the other side is actually a real pen in case you need to write something down. Like on here, just remember to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful. But it's nice that they include this. You can get it separately, but it's just more convenient to have all this together. So I can definitely appreciate all the little things they have here, including this back piece. To be able to have a grip on this, it's just so nice and really convenient for people who work outdoors, or maybe inside too. It just reminds you of those guys who work at Chick-fil-A or even at Andy's Frozen Custard. They're holding on to this stuff. So overall, I think this is a nice tablet. I thought there was going to be a compromise because it is rugged. Usually, in the past, at least, that was the case, that you would compromise specs and some features because it is rugged. But no, nothing like that's happened. It's got wideband level L1, a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, pretty solid screen. The only downside and probably even deal breaker for some is that screen brightness. That's not enough to use outside in full daylight. But it does have a headphone jack, which I can't believe is a feature in today's day and age, but, you know, it is what it is. And the front-facing camera is actually decent. I dare I say it's the best front-facing camera I've used on any tablet, any budget tablet to be more specific. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be checking out more in the near future, so definitely subscribe for more, and leave a like if you found this video helpful. As always, thanks for watching.